Well, good morning, my friends. Welcome to Words from a Friend podcast. I'm your host, Marty Carey, and this is the podcast that follows my book, Words from a Friend, a daily guide to a purposeful life. It's available at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. We're on a 365-day inner journey together, so happy and grateful to have you along. We're on day 80 of that journey already. Day 80. The message today is, what's the real issue? What's the real issue? Do we ever get to the real issue, or are we just dancing around it all the time? Going around the block 10 times in order to solve what we could really solve with real communication, with truthful communication, honest communication with integrity. Hard to do in an ego world, but boy, when you learn to do it, it's very freeing. Very, very freeing. You're not speaking with a mask on it. You're speaking from the heart. Speaking from the heart instead. Just what you need. Simple truth. Simple truth, nothing extravagant. No punitive, no blaming, none of that stuff needed. Learning to speak from the heart. Well, there you go. Ego doesn't know what to do with that. Does not know what to do with that truth. It's like, are you kidding me? You can't forgive. You can't forget that. You can't do this. You can't go on without telling them this or that. Boy, I'll tell you what. You certainly can. And you've learned how to free yourself. You've learned how to detach from the nonsense. You've learned how to find the real issue and solve it quickly, efficiently, Boom, 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 like a laser surgeon. Just get it out of there now, done, boom, move forward. Whereas the ego wants you to stay in it, sit in it, stew on it, pass it around with gossip, create this big whole nasty world around it. Next thing you know, that's something that a molehill becomes a mountain. All from what? All from what? Not being present in your truth. You are in your ego. Spinning tales that you made true, that you made come true. We all do it. But when you realize it and you look at it, you become the master of it. Well, you don't do it anymore. You become the master of your domain. Like we always say, the master of your domain. Okay. How many times in your life have you had an argument, a misinterpretation, or ego interaction, and then turned around and used that energy as your nasty calling card for the entire day? Right? You're wielding your ego. You're stuck in a lens because you had a skirmish somewhere, your ego skirmish. And next thing you know, you're walking in, you got a face on, everybody's wondering what's wrong, and then you start just lashing it out, and everybody's affected by it. You're throwing up your troubles all over everybody else. You got to... You're the commander of your ship. You learn how to be the commander of your ship. You're going to be able to process that yourself. Boom, 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 shaka boom. And if you need somebody to process that with, well, don't process it with the world. You don't need to. You can process that with a good friend who understands, in a way that's like, hey, help me off this ledge because I want to kill everybody in front of me, right? Well, yeah. Okay, but learn to do that for yourself. That's the real mission. Self-reliance, right? Self-made. You hear that one? Self-made millionaire. Self-made. Well, the real self-made is understanding what the true self is and using that energy. Well, that self-made is going to have beautiful tentacles of light included in it. And whatever they decide to do in their life, those people, they can use that light as the way that they create everything in their life, whether it be their family, their friend relationships, their business relationships. If you have that in mind as the underpinning of all of it, as this has to bring light, and the atmosphere that I create has to feel light in order for creativity and love to flourish here, well then there you go. That's a great foundation. And I've said it before in this podcast, in our own business at the Old Daily. That's why we've been around for 50 years, is because there is that element that's always been there of fun and light. And we love each other and we appreciate each other's talents, And just like family, we can get into the little crap, but ultimately, there's the core team. We call it the core team. That's been there forever. That's like our extended family. We get each other, right? So, and we raised each other like a family. It's been beautiful. So, but the underpinning of that all was when we created our catering kitchen from this hot little 300 square foot kitchen at our old place into this beautiful new place that we first created as our catering kitchen. What do we want now? We always ask ourselves, well, what do we want that's going to make this even a better place for us to do this kind of happy work together? Well, when we created it, it was like, put the music in here, put the air conditioning in here, and a hot kitchen in Troy in the summertime. Forget it. Air conditioning in a kitchen, unheard of in the old world of restaurants, unheard of. So for us, it was about fun, great music, and all of our Christmas parties. You ask anybody about Old Daly Christmas parties from 1975 and beyond. Doesn't matter what genre or generation you were in. It's always been the same thing. You're going to get a Soul Train line of dancing at Christmas time. It just is that way because we understand that that's what creates a great community, a great culture, and a great experience in the human world. That's what you go for. But you got to create it. You got to do your part in creating that. You got to be your fractal, your beautiful fractal of light, and add it to each other. And that's what creates that beauty. And you got to be grateful for it, to see it for what you've created. You see it and you go, that's been a great environment to grow in. That's been a great environment to grow in. We all help each other grow. All right. Are you aware of the carnage that your ego leaves behind when you're going into an ego battle and then you're blowing yourself up all over the place that you go because you're carrying it around like luggage? Are you aware that you even have a choice in your approach? Ego doesn't even offer you another solution. Ego just wants you to stay there in the tools that it knows, whatever it's been taught. It could be something that you learn that would be on the good side, but most often that ego is just going to say, this is about me and my side and my perception and me being right. Me, I, mine, right? Well, where's the love in that? Well, the love could be if the other person's awakened, they can understand that and say, okay, this person is just sleeping in the ego, right? Okay. Well, we've been asleep in ours too. If you're coming out of that and you want to help the world, remember. First thing is remembering where you were, not living in it, but understanding from a perspective of understanding now. You're here if you move up on this rung, you help this person up to the next rung. You move up a rung, and if they're not interested in that, you keep going. You keep going. And then maybe that'll inspire them. Oh, I can do that. I can go up that next rung myself. I don't need them to pull me up anymore. But thanks. Thanks for saying, hey, I know you can. That's the seeds you plant. I know you can. You may not be ready to right now, but when you are, you know the way. At least I've left you with a signpost. That's what I always say. The people that inspire me the most for my family that have gone on the other side, I just look for their signposts. I don't remember the tragedy of it all. That when that comes up, I have to snap myself and say, hey, that's not what they want me to remember. They don't want me to remember that. They want me to remember the signpost that they left. Signpost of love and what it was really all about. And maybe they didn't have the tools to love you the way you needed to be loved. Okay, you have to understand that as well. That we're all just here to grow. Some of us don't grow as fast as others. Some of us grow in different ways. Some of us, don't have a lot of a chance to get there. So we have to recognize that. And, we don't understand it all. And we're not to lean on our own human understanding. So the best we can do is what? The best we can do is to stay in an understanding that we're a fractal of light from the whole body of light. And to use that as your foundation for everything. So often we carry ugly luggage with us from one place to another and happily unpack it in the lives of others instead of being aware that our own low energy mindset, we use it to plow over others in a way to vent or release the negative energy. Soon we feel better because we vented it out. But we've left carnage in our path that our ego doesn't even care about. I got to puke it up. That's good enough. I don't care that I splattered it all over everybody and they're left with it. I can move on now. I vented. That's no good. That is no good. What are you given from this vehicle? You're throwing a ugly bag of McDonald's out the window at people on your way by. Nobody's going to like that. Hey, there it goes. Hey, get hit with a bag of McDonald's. No. What are you giving? Get yourself right. You start in the morning. Every morning you get yourself right first. First. Fill your cup first with the right stuff. If a skirmish happens your way, look at it as an opportunity to practice. Practice being present in the fact that you're the light rather than what this wants you to be, what this would have made you become before you realized you were the light. Now what are you going to do? Now how are you going to handle it? Okay, there's the challenge. Accept the challenge. Think from your heart. Say, hey, I love you. I love you. I don't want this. How can we get to some understanding here? Because you're obviously, whatever. If you can do that, great. If you don't have the power to do that, maybe you can say, this is not a good time. Settle this down. Let's meet again in a little while. We can't come to anything here. This is where both our dogs are off the chain. Both dogs are off the chain. Doesn't usually create anything good there, right? What would love say to do? What would love do? It would back up. It would give space. It would become centered, and said, what do I really need here, and what's the better path forward? If you practice those in the little things, and the bigger things come up, you'll have the same learned method in you. It's the same talent. It's the same thing that you've built. It's the muscle. It's the muscle you've built for that particular thing, right? As somebody has been in the hospitality business my whole life, and you wait on so many tables in your life. It's like, oh man, every walk of life, and every one of them, you got to create a relationship within an hour and a half, right? So that's how you dance for your nickel. But boy, you got to learn a lot there, how people's egos work, how people's minds work, right? And there's patterns. There is patterns, and then that helped me to see how my own pattern worked, how my own pattern hurt me, and how my own pattern helped me, parts of my pattern, because there is both. But when you can see your pattern, you can improve it, but only when you see it. Only when you take account for it will you have the desire and the will to do it. Because if you keep kicking the can down the road because you don't work on yourself, you're not going to know parts of yourself that are there that you're going to go, I can't believe I never looked within that far. There was so much more there. I had so much more in there that I would have given had I known. I have so many more talents that I could have experienced had I known, had I walked past fear, had I walked past it and said, I don't want to live. I'm not stopping here. I'm not stopping. There's no stopping, right? Right? That's it. So we must become better stewards of our own energy. We have to become better stewards of our own energy and subsequent behaviors. It matters more than you know, our behavior. Our behavior tells the tale. Our behavior tells the story, right? Doesn't it? Your behavior tells your thoughts, your positions, but in an ego way, how that would be. But your soul has different behavior than your ego does. We know what the ego's behavior is. It's all over Netflix. It is. Everything you see is just, hey, everybody, this is normal. This is normal now. All this chaos is normal, everybody. Adopt it. Adopt the chaos. It's just normal. We're going to keep making movies to prove it to you. And then we're going to keep this fear going to prove it to you. This is just the way it is, and this is what you have to accept. What a joke. What a joke. Fear telling God, you have to accept this. Fear telling God, you have to accept all this ugly. God saying, no, I will not accept this. This is not who my children are. This is not what this place was meant to be. Not meant to be. So we're going to come out of this stupid amnesia and remember who we are together. And boy, what a different world that is going to be. Are you jumping in? Does it make any sense to you? Doesn't it make any sense to you? I hope it does. Because you do it in so many ways already. You bring that beautiful light of yours to the world. But now's the time to really turn it up and turn it on. Now, more than ever. Now more than ever. We are at a tipping point. Tipping point in our own lives and in the journey of the humankind. Humankind. We're going into the next level of our own evolution, of our own evolution as a human species. It's amazing. It's amazing to be in it, to be part of it, and to the feeling, the going through it, the feeling where you get to feel what it's like to go through it as a human, here as a human, whereas the rest of the universe is watching it happen. It's watching it happen. And so when we're rising up to that, we bubble up into that. We say, oh man, this is much bigger than I thought it was. It's not about what I'm looking at. This is the remnants of the old that we're watching here. You know, this is the remnants of the old. It's teaching us what we no longer need in our lives, what we can no longer accept. Universe likes order. Universe loves order. The universe is an orderly place. Chaos has taught us what? Always just as said, love is still king. Love is king. Love is calm. Love is centered. Love is sane. Love is sane. Love is the sanity in a chaotic world. Love is the calm center in a chaotic world. Love is so much more than a romantic notion that it's been taught to us as. It's either in it or you're out of it. No, you're it. So the only way you're out of it is if you take yourself out of it, because you're it. You get it? Okay. We must become better stewards. Defending the perceptions of your ego will only serve to widen and expand the negativity. We're defending the mask. We're defending the self, the false self, the earthly self. We're defending that self. You know, that's where we get insulted, or we get, people can piss us off, and they have the power over us when they can piss us off, don't they? Well, that's because we're taking their perception as truth. Well, if you don't believe it, how can it piss you off? That's just you. You're being the a-hole because you don't know. You obviously don't know me. You obviously don't know me. So you're just perceiving whatever you're perceiving about me, unless you get to know me. And then you can call me an a-hole. Then you can call me an a-hole if you get to know me. All right, but only then. Okay. Never be afraid to apologize, even if the message was right. The approach is what you are regretful for. The ability to apologize is a true strength of your spirit, not a weakness. Only your ego finds weakness in apologizing, because apologizing is recognizing that you're coming from the false self and you got into something that was based on nonsense. All right, I was offended by something that I haven't taken account for in myself, so I got to be real about this. I got to be real about it, at least my part of it, So that's it. But that's evolution. That's your own evolution. Emotional intelligence, emotional maturity is part of your own evolution. You're taking yourself out of the high school mentality, And you're going, all right, God, what do you think that's higher than this high school mentality? How would you handle this outside of the stuff that I thought I knew, but it's really, none of it is really good. A lot of it isn't, right? So that's the house we get to build anew. That's the fun part. Now you're a creator, but the best part of creating is creating yourself anew, with a new vision for yourself and a new vision for your life that you may have never given your permission to think before, to believe before, but now you do. Okay? It's obviously there's something growing in you, because I say if you're here, you seek it. You seek to become more bright in your own innards. In your own innards. Okay? Keeping yourself free and nurturing the real gold is what your relation is. I'm sorry. Keeping yourself free and nurturing the real gold, that is your relationships, is done through the power of forgiveness and apology. I always say it's just a release valve. It's what it is. It works given by both parties. It keeps love in the room, and it brings the great creative energy back to peak levels. Creativity thrives in freedom. It doesn't thrive in overlording. It doesn't thrive in domination. Creativity is let loose when it's freed from the confines of opinion, of other people's opinion, right? It's like a great artist like Da Vinci isn't starting to sketch something beautiful and then going, hey, Sam, what would you do with this over here, this next part? What would you do? Oh, he wants Sam out of the room. He wants quiet. He wants the divine to speak through his pencil. He wants that freedom. The universe knows Not this puny little human self that can only see this much. That's why Da Vinci was so amazing. He saw with God's eye. He was that spacious in here. He was that spacious. He used it. He used it. And boy, what did he create? Right? Things that people are going, oh my God. What came through him? What God used him for? He allowed himself to be used rather than believing in the outside false self that we just see in the mirror every day. Right? You're a vessel. You're a vessel of God's light. If you let God live through you, what a ride you're going to have. Use me. I'm the vessel. Fill me up till it overflows and let me give whatever comes out of there. Let me give whatever comes out of there as what I'm here to do. That's it. What else do you need? Your purpose is, your fulfillment is in there. Your purpose is in there. You know, the truth is in there. Everything else is bullshit. Everything else is bullshit that you attach yourself to for no good reason. No good reason, right? So detach yourself from a lot of stuff. Keep yourself free and nurturing the real gold that is your relationships, okay? Keeps love in the room. Today's CTA, if you are caught in the storm of your ego, dig down and find out what was the real issue. What was the real issue? Do your best not to use these same glasses to view and spew the lower energy of one issue into your entire day. Misdirected negativity, misdirected anger, misdirected drama, right? You want to get everybody else involved in your drama because you're trying to get rid of it. You're trying to get it out of you. You're trying, hey, somebody help me with this drama, right? You learn to take a breath. You learn to calm yourself. There. That's why you practice. You become the doctor of yourself. You need no doctor. You know what I mean? No somebody to save you. You've connected. I need nobody else to tell me where my pencil needs to go. I'm connected. I have a divine purpose. It's already in my DNA. You know, God wants me to draw some funny character of one of my buddies. I'm going to do it. That's funny, and it's going to uplift my buddy. That's all I did in high school. If anybody went to high school, that's it. Yeah. I got most artistic in high school. I was not the most artistic person in high school. Man, there were some great artists in my class. Great artists. I think the reason I got most artistic is because I could draw my buddies after whatever happened that weekend in high school. I would draw it on Monday, a scene of it, and it would pass it around. It would go around the classes. Some of the teachers would pin them up because I'd include the teacher in there, you know, and it was awesome. My grades were awesome, but boy, we had a great time and a great class. Class of 82 in the Berg. You son of a guns, you were the best class ever. I love you all. All right, that's it for today, and I hope you got something out of that, and I hope you're enjoying the ride. I hope you're enjoying your own rise. You know, more than anything else, your own rise. All right, and see how it's rippling out, and see how it ripples out into your family and into your relationships. And you see that that's the real juice that you put on your life sandwich, you know, the real spread, the Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip. All right, guys, much love, and we shall see you tomorrow, Ski.